Theresa. So good to see you.
Jodi, it's great to see you too.
So I'm in North Carolina and you're in California. So
Yes.
I'm grateful for Zoom that we get to talk to you because you are such an expert on this topic of unplanned pregnancies and the women that we'll be talking about today. So thank you for doing this interview. I will tell the ladies watching that you are on the board of Pharaoh's Daughters, and we appreciate you so much for that. That in your day job, so to speak, you are a marketing executive in the technology world, but you're also an adoptive mom, and you're the founder of an organization called Unplanned Good, and we'll put the link for that with this video so people can learn more about Unplanned Good. Tell me why you started this organization.
Thank you. Thank you for the chance to share about this, Jodi. It's the subject closest to my heart. And the reason I started Unplanned Good was goes back to about 21 years ago. I became a mom through adoption, thankfully. Had a beautiful adoption experience with the birth mother who chose my husband and me. And then I just moved on with life thinking how blessed we were. But over the course of the next decade or so, talking with my friends who weren't able to conceive and then also weren't able to adopt, I looked into that a little bit more and found out that actually, especially in California, it's very difficult to adopt a newborn baby. And then I looked deeper into that and found out why. And the reason that it's so hard to adopt a newborn baby now is that women who face unplanned pregnancy believe that they have only two choices. They think they need to either abort or become, often single, become moms and parent. And so just introducing adoption to the range of choices is the goal of Unplanned Good.
So, the women you serve, tell us a little bit more about them. Are they typically younger, older? Are they a diverse group of women? What would you say to us about them?
I'd say that we actually have two groups of women that we serve. One, of course, is the group of women who are facing unplanned pregnancies, just to let them know that their options do include adoption and that placing the baby for adoption can also be a very rewarding and wonderful choice, that they can actually look back on that in future years and be proud of their choices that have it that they've placed for adoption. They've actually helped start a family through adoption when they've placed their baby with another couple that's ready, willing, and able to raise a baby. And so the second group of women that we serve, I believe, are the women who become moms through adoption. They would never be able to do that if the woman facing unplanned pregnancy hadn't chosen adoption. So there are really two groups that benefit from our work.
I see. And these women that you're serving, the pregnant women,
Okay.
are they considering abortion, and if so, why? That's the topic we're sort of diving into this month, where it's Sanctity of Life Month in the Christian Church. And so I'm curious what you're hearing from these women as you come alongside them.
Well, so I do have some insight into that because Unplanned Good partners with the crisis pregnancy centers locally. And so, getting a glimpse into that world, we see that women who learn that they're facing an unplanned pregnancy, they're facing pregnancy, and they're shocked by it, are really thrown for a loop. They're just really surprised and thought that it could never happen to them. And so, when they first find out that they're pregnant, their choices are not actually so crystallized. It takes a couple moments before you catch your breath and take a deep breath and take a look at your choices, your options, and start considering what you might want to do and making a plan. And so when they are first faced with that news, adoption is not actually the one that bubbles to the front at the beginning, bubbles to the forefront. Our society has a knee-jerk reaction about abortion, that would be fast and easy, painless, guilt-free, no victim. And so that's one of the very first options that comes to mind. And then they think about parenting as well, of course. So both of those options are mulled over in their minds for the entire time that they're trying to make a plan and trying to decide what they're going to do. But all too often, adoption is not suggested to them or not advocated for. And so that's what we're trying to change, and to let people know, to let women know that adoption is possible, it's viable. Here's what it would look like, giving out information about open adoption and what it involves and how it actually empowers the women facing unplanned pregnancy, because they have a lot of say about how an adoption might go. They have a lot of decisions that they can make if they want to, about the parents that they place with and the family that they're bringing, that they're placing that child into, the home that the child will be coming into. So all of that education is what we're all about.
That is so excellent and important. In the cases that I have dealt with, in friends and other women I know who are post abortion from other times in their life, it did feel very much like a crisis, and they felt they couldn't raise the child in those circumstances. I know being a single parent has become more accepted in our society, but the women that you're dealing with, if they're considering abortion, would you say lack of support or lack of financial resources? What is causing them to consider that as their only option, or one of the two options?
People might be deterred from choosing life. They might go towards abortion for, yes, a lack of financial resources, yes, a lack of support. I believe that it's mostly a lack of information, that
Oh,
they can choose life without necessarily choosing the next 2 decades of parenting.
I
And
see.
that alone is big news to a lot of people. They can choose life and then actually choose parents to love and nurture that baby through the next couple of decades. But a lot of people, both a young woman facing unplanned pregnancy and society at large, all of us have a lot to learn about adoption and what it looks like today. It's evolved quite a bit from
Yes.
the days of closed adoption when I was in high school and someone got pregnant, and the closed adoption really was forced upon them and took away a lot of their choices. And it made us evolve as a society, so that now we see adoption as being so much healthier with the transparency that we've evolved to. Open adoption has so many fewer secrets, it's so much more information is exposed. And my daughter's actually a good example of that, that from the time that she was uh, barely and still an infant, we were talking very openly about the fact that she didn't grow in my stomach. She actually grew in the belly of another woman, and who made this loving adoption plan out of the huge amount of love that she had for my daughter. She was able to choose parents and choose the setting and choose so many more characteristics about the family that she placed with. And so my daughter, knowing all of that, is very much in the spirit of open adoption today. And it
That's
really means that she knows where she's coming from. She knows why it all happened the way it happened. And she knows that her birth mother put a lot of love and thought into that decision.
that is so beautiful. I love that. And I know that's so important for identity of an adopted person, to know that those decisions were made for those reasons and in that way. That's
Mhm,
really beautiful.
mhm.
Well, for women in this community who are already passionate about vulnerable children, vulnerable women, and adoption, if we're thinking about the woman in crisis pregnancy, what are the things we can do to come alongside the women that you're working with in there in California and beyond?
What we can do, any woman in our community can be a part of this solution. I believe that. Any woman who has the opportunity can suggest adoption. Anyone can keep their eyes out, because we all know in this life where, 1 out of 6 of us know someone in our community right now who's facing an unplanned pregnancy. We just don't, they don't know that we know, or it's not been made public yet. But unplanned pregnancies are all around us, and if we just stand ready to share information, that alone is a huge help. But also, the studies also show that half of the women who are facing unplanned pregnancy would look very seriously at it if it's only recommended by someone that they respect or admire. So having that suggestion come from your aunt, your teacher, your pastor, your neighbor, your cousin, anybody is in a position to say, sweetheart, have you thought about this? Because we could actually talk through what that would look like. And then secondly, besides making the suggestion, is to help provide information, because most of the women who are facing unplanned pregnancy truly have no idea how much is under their control, how much they're in the driver's seat. Our birth mother got to choose so many aspects of the parents that she was looking for. She was looking for, a married couple. She was looking for an urban couple. She wanted to find, people that had actually no children yet, but that would bring her baby into a situation with many, many cousins. And so it just turned out that we fit that criteria, because my daughter came into our family. I didn't have any other children, but she now has 16 first cousins. And that's exactly
that's beautiful.
That's what her birth mother had in mind for her.
Oh, that's lovely.
So, yeah, so keeping your eyes open, being ready to suggest adoption, and then being ready to provide information about what open adoption looks like and how empowering that can be to the birth mother.
That's wonderful. What about volunteering at crisis pregnancy centers? Is that something people can do? Is it a rigorous process? I've never done that, and I'm curious how that works.
There are a lot of ways that we can help the crisis pregnancy centers, and I partner with the ones that are here in San Jose. But they obviously they appreciate financial support at any time, but they also host an annual walk for life, which can be, anybody can participate in that, either doing the walk or helping to promote the walk and organize teams for the walk. So that's definitely another way to do it. My actual pregnancy center has a prayer vine, so I get an email from them at least once a day about specific women who need prayer. And last week there was somebody who said she was practically out. It was a single mom who was actually almost out of infant formula. So it's easy for me to grab a bottle of Enfamil while the next time I'm at Safeway and drop it off. There are lots of ways to get creative about how to help them out with their mission.
That's beautiful. So, prayer, which I can do from my home, making a financial donation to an organization like yours or to a crisis pregnancy center, uh, boots on the ground, volunteering with different events, or coming alongside that woman with things she needs in the moment so she has more time to about her decision.
But what I would recommend is, if you have a crisis pregnancy center in your neighborhood, call them up and say, what do you need right now? Because it'll change for each of them.
And that's just as simple as Googling that crisis pregnancy center near me.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Right.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much. This has been a wealth of information, and you're right. Even the way you're talking about this topic, I can see that it's not widely known and it's not discussed in this way, in the way that you're sharing about it. When people think about adoption, they think about something different.
Yeah.
So it's so important, the work that you're doing. And I just thank you, Theresa. And I understand you have a new book that will be coming out sometime in the future as well. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yes, actually, I'm very excited about digging into this book and getting it out this year, hopefully before the end of 2021. But the whole idea is about making adoption a practical solution. So it's making the pro-life stance practical. so that we can all understand actually what we can do to play a role in that, in helping more women to see that adoption couldn't be a choice for them.
Well, that's awesome. And we'll promo the book and share it as soon as it comes out. We'd love to do that. So
Thank you, Jodi.
thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
we'll put lots of links so people can get in touch with you.
Thank you, Jodi. It's been my pleasure, and you keep up the good work too.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.